Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. How are you doing? This is G. We got a lot to talk about. Yes, we are in the month of April. We know that this month kicks off with an eclipse. There's 2 videos out about that already. It's the April eclipse. It's a big deal for those who have things at the exact degrees of the eclipse. You have already felt the changes and the shift and the nuances of that eclipse. There will be links to that video down below or to those 2 videos down below, but I will touch on it a little bit here. But this will talk about the following days because this eclipse happens right at the beginning of the week on April 8th. So what happens the following days? There's a lot of really interesting things. And we're also going to talk about someone brand new. Not that they're brand new on the scene, but it's an aspect in the chart that I haven't mentioned before. So let's find out a little bit more about Urania. URANIA. And let's see what we can figure out as to, is this worth looking at in your chart? So that's who I'm talking about, and that is the spelling, URANIA. Yeah, who the heck is this, right? Who is it? Is it important? I don't know for sure. Always willing to look because asteroids were a game changer in my chart in regards to my health. Once I plotted the asteroids in there, I was like, oh, damn. Now I understand, right? I decided to plot it in for this week's chart because it's significant. Urania is going to be conjunct the south node. Yes. You see that? Urania. Yeah, it might help to know what the hell Urania looks like. The symbol for Urania looks like this. It's the letter A, a capital A, and then like this fancy little thing there, right? So it's not too complicated. You see it, you get it. The letter A, and then instead of doing the simple thing to just put a straight line, you kind of just put a little fancy tail on her, right? For that line. And that's the symbol for Urania on the chart, at least for this chart system I'm using. And there she is. I did it separate because it's kind of covered up by the south node and we're a bit pixelated. So I'll just go ahead and do her in blue. She's right there. Hold on. My system always wants to correct shit that I'm doing. And I always got to say, can you please stop correcting? And I'm pretty sure I can go in and tell it to stop asking me to correct everything. But sometimes I actually need it to correct my shit. So anyway, we're going to leave it there. So that is Urania. Okay. And you see she's at 1821. South node is at 1521. Urania is retrograding, which means she's going to catch up to the south node. Well, we don't know what that means, right? We know what Libra means, partnerships, important partnerships, personal and professional, the 2 Ps, those significant one-on-one relationships. Sometimes we pay money for them. Sometimes we get money out of them, like they're business partnerships. Personal can be marriage, right? So there's a lot of really important stuff here. Also the scales of justice, Libra energy, the scales of justice, law, the courtroom, right? Maybe some rulings that come down even, but lawyers, we think of lawyers. I might have to get a lawyer at some point, right? Sometimes that happens. South node, ooh, maybe a release in some lawyers. But the Libran energy, let's forget the meaning, or let's not forget the meaning of Libra energy. Most importantly, equality and fairness. So it's interesting because if a south node is there and it says there's a release in something, is it a release in equality? Is there a release possibly in some civil liberties? Is that possible? Well, here in the States, Roe versus Wade was overturned a while back, and that absolutely had been a civil liberty. Well, yeah, definitely specific to women. And Venus rules Libra. Yep. Feminine energy, women, right? So let's go take a look at Urania. She is one of the 9 muses, Muses, right? Like creative. She was the goddess, female energy, goddess of music, song, and dance, as well as astronomy and astrology. She is the daughter of Zeus. The urge to study a subject thoroughly, focus on being more serious and important areas of life, the deeper issues. There is an interest in theory and knowledge for knowledge's sake, able to extract principles after assembling the evidence. And I'm going to say this was huge for me in my chart, in my natal chart. I was like, oh my God. So once I see it show up in my chart and I can understand, like can take that definition, I can see the aspects, I can see the location, and I'm like, holy shit. This adds another layer, another depth of meaning for me in my life. You might want to start tracking it in your chart. If you don't have your chart and you need it, let me know. I'm now putting it into the systems to plot it out, to be a part of all the systems, the charts that I draw up from here on out, so that you can see where it is natally for you. For you, wherever it is natally, it will never move. It will always be there, okay? Because that's your natal chart. Now, let's get some other opinions on this. I went to a couple of different websites that I felt were worthy, that were trustworthy, okay? And so here's one, and it says, "She who draws our eyes." Draw, D-R-A-W-S. She who draws our eyes. In exploring the inspiration of astronomical phenomena upon human culture, we are invited, perhaps beckoned, to reflect on Urania, the Greek muse of astronomy. Heavenly One, or heavenly bright Urania, teaches mortals the shape and wonder of the cosmos. In quotations, men who have been instructed by her, she raises aloft to heaven, for it is a fact that imagination and power of thought lift men's souls to heavenly heights. Many times people forget that at one time, astronomy and astrology were one science. They were together. Since the time when the split became where it was, oh, if you were a science, the church was killing you, right? And then that split had to happen, and then science had to pull away, right, from the astrology, and it was just became astronomy, pure science, no connection to how it could possibly have anything to do with who you are as a human being, right? Take away the idea that maybe God created the planets and the earth, and God forbid that you understand the divine language of God. Deity in ancient Greek mythology, she was one of the multiple aspects associated with the goddess Aphrodite, the goddess of love, beauty, and desire. In Greek mythology, Aphrodite had different forms or aspects that represented various facets of her divine influence. Aphrodite Urania specifically represented the celestial or heavenly aspects of Aphrodite. The name Urania is derived from the Greek word Uranus. So it's Ouranios, and I likely botched up this pronunciation. And that word means heavenly or pertaining to the sky. As Aphrodite Urania, she symbolized the higher and more spiritual aspects of love, focusing on the concept of divine or transcendent love. Unlike her counterpart Aphrodite Pandamos, who represented earthly and physical love, Aphrodite Urania was associated with intellectual love, higher ideals, and the love between the gods. She was often depicted as a celestial goddess, radiating an aura of purity and ethereal beauty. Aphrodite Urania was believed to inspire poets, artists, and philosophers in their pursuit of spiritual and intellectual love. And here we have it, folks. Urania in Libra. And for those of you who are following along at home, she's at 18 degrees and 21 minutes when we start off the week of April 8th. But more importantly, this Mercury will be at 15 degrees with Venus and with Chiron. And that's where we will pick up the video for next week.